Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. Thought I'd do a little bit of a more lighthearted podcast this morning. Let's talk about an incident that happened. Well, we're going to revisit Arkansas. And in Arkansas, my wife and I were driving team, which means, in this case, she would drive during the day and I would drive during the night. We spent a little bit of time at truck stops, taking breaks and just spending time with each other. And oftentimes, we would use the CB and talk to people while the other person slept. Because it's a very, very, solitary life and on the road. Well, the wife was driving this day, and I was in the back asleep. All of a sudden, the brakes were hit pretty hard. I almost got thrown out of the sleeper, and that's not a good feeling if you've ever had it done. Imagine you're in a very deep sleep, and someone comes in and just turns you out of the bed, just flips your mattress so that you fall out. That's what it feels like to get thrown out of the bed in a moving vehicle. Of course, I wake up and I throw my feet to the floor and stick my head through the curtains. And there is this road worker with one of those signs that says slow on one side and stop on the other. He's not paying attention to, really anything. He's walking down the side of the road, and as she explains to me eventually, he just flipped the sign around to stop while he was walking. So she thought, stop, and she stopped. Eventually, this guy realizes what he's doing. At this point, I'm up in the seat, and she'd been on the CB with a guy that she was talking to who was following her in a tanker. And he had to slam on his brakes when she slammed on her brakes to stop from hitting us from behind. Anyway, the guy finally realized what he was doing, and he puts a sign. He drops the stop sign into the down position with the pole sticking up. We were absolutely stunned. The gentleman in the tanker, pulling the tanker, he says, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to stop. I thought I might hit you in the back of your trailer. He was pulling a smoothbore trailer, which means that there's no controlling the liquid inside the tanker. It just kind of moves as it wants to, and they call that the surge. And when you hit the brakes initially, you get that first surge. It comes to the front of the trailer, bumps it, and gives you a little bit more momentum, harder to brake the tractor trailer. And then it goes to the back, and you can feel it pull back on you when it goes to the back of the trailer and it hits the back. But then it's coming back to the front again, and if you're in a panic stop, there's a good chance that it's not going to stop where you think it will. It will continue to, that momentum of all that liquid in there will push it forward. He was able to stop. We're talking about it, and he's talking with us on the CB about it, and, we were saying some very unkind things about the gentleman who was on the side of the road with the sign. A little further up the road, I say, is that a construction barrel in the middle of the road? And it was. There was a construction barrel in the middle of the road. So the wife changed lanes, and almost immediately, within maybe 100 yards, she had to switch back again because there was a construction barrel in the middle of the lane that she'd moved to. And this went on for quite a while. Eventually, we catch up with the culprit who is putting these barrels in the middle of the road. And it's not a trucker. It's not a car. It is a construction crew, and they are picking barrels up off of the side of the road and putting them in a trailer. I'm pretty sure that the back gate of the trailer is supposed to be closed, though. As this guy would pick up 1 or 2 or 3 barrels, one of them would fall out of the back of the trailer and roll to the middle of the road. He's not doing anything but looking down and grabbing the next barrel and throwing it in the trailer. Once we got past him, all the barrels were off on the side of the road on the shoulder. We ended up going to the next truck stop and having a sit-down dinner with the driver that we'd been talking with on the CV. Misadventures in trucking that really keep you on your toes. Another time we were up in the Northeast. I think it might have been either New Jersey or Pennsylvania, and the wife was driving again. There were Jersey barriers on the left-hand side of the road. Had the left lane closed with those. And on the right, kind of close to the traveling lane, they had these barrels again. Well, eventually we came to one that was at the entrance ramp of an on-ramp. And it was just before the on-ramp. And kind of worked its way. I'm not sure if someone hit it or a wind caught it or what. It didn't have one of the weights on it that keep it in place. And this barrel had worked its way kind of too close to the line, and there wasn't enough room for my wife to get between the Jersey barrier made of concrete and this barrel. She did the best she could, but if she's going to hit something, it's going to be that barrel. She nicked it. And when she nicked it, that sucker spun like a Frisbee. We were going pretty slow because it was construction. But that thing spun like a Frisbee and got out in front of us. And this barrel spun, and it flew right up over the back of the pickup truck and landed in its bed, almost as if she had aimed it to do that. And of course, we were quiet for a moment. The pickup truck, it just kept going. The reason I think it might have been Pennsylvania is they have some very short ramps. Anyway, it gets to the top of the ramp and it makes the left turn. I don't think that guy knew that barrel was in the back of his truck. And we laughed about that for a long time. And I often wonder how that guy reacted when he got home and in the back of his truck, there was a construction barrel. But like I said, it's these little things that kind of keep you on your toes when you're out there doing the job. Thought I'd keep it light this morning, tell a couple stories about trucking and construction barrels, which in the industry, they call Schneider eggs. And the reason they call them Schneider eggs is because they're orange, and the trucking company Schneider has orange trucks. So as the, orange Schneider truck goes by and there's all these orange barrels, it looks like he's laying eggs. I hope that you all have a wonderful day. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend as well. Until next time, peace.